All ready for your graduation tomorrow?
All right, good evening. Notice of this meeting was advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. If everybody could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Trueblood? Ms. Stinney?
Present.
Ms. Scott?
Present.
Ms. Jackson?
Present.
Mr. Allen will be absent this evening. And in that case, I need somebody to please step up and be the council president or the chair of the meeting this evening.
Do we have to... a vote of confidence
Do we vote or...
Yeah, you need well, at least a consensus.
Yeah,
at least.
I'm okay. I was going to ask Ms. Skull as well. I don't have any experience.
Are you sure down there, Mrs. Trueblood, you want to run it? What?
Oh, no. No,
I'll check with Diane.
Diane, tag, you are it.
I like that one, tag.
I knew what she was going to
So we have a consensus of council to have
Yes.
Woman Skull to be chair this evening. Thank you. It's your meeting now.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh, good. At least I have a high chair here. All righty. Oh, yeah, I don't look very nice as Mr. Allen, do I?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Closed session resolution number 135, 2015. Authorize council to go into closed session with attorney-client privilege.
It's also council president under the lawsuit Stewart versus Pemberton.
Okay, anything else for closed session? Council?
No.
Do we have a motion to approve 135?
Motion to approve 135.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Trueblood?
Yes.
Ms. Stinney?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Skull?
Yes. Okay, we're going to go to closed session and we'll return. Ready? Okay, we are re-adjourned. There is no formal action necessary from closed session. We're now going to have public comment on agenda items only. The consent agenda, all items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine by the town council and will be enacted by one motion. Should a council member wish to discuss a consent agenda item separately, that item can be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence. Public, anyone from the public? Yes, Miss Wadsworth.
Claire Wadsworth, Browns Mills. Consent agenda item 138-2015 and 139-2015. Are there any costs associated with either of these?
Mr. Gonzalez has the answer.
Yes, the only cost to the township will be $15 per line item. That is on the tax sale. That $15, we also generate $25 per line item in notice fee. So ultimately, the full cost of it is borne by the folks that purchase the tax sale certificates.
Thank you. Consent agenda item 145, 2015. Authorizes the purchase of hot asphalt mix from American Asphalt Company, Inc., under Burlington County Cooperative Number VUCCP 13039. Since this is not under purchases over $2,000, can I assume it is less than $2,000?
No?
I'm sorry?
No.
How much is it?
Hold on a second, I'm looking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Andy. Yeah.
Thank
sure.
you.
The amount is, 300 oh, wait a minute here, 400, up to $446,000.
And why doesn't that have to be with purchases over 2,000?
Well, it's actually being done by separate resolution. It's being approved through a separate resolution.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, and Resolution 146, 2015 authorizes the 2015 payment pursuant to the agreement with the County of Burlington. Oh, wrong one. I apologize. All right, where?
911 service is clear.
No, that is not the one I questioned, although I had a question on, although it is the one I circled. I apologize. Just bear with me. It's concerning the payment to the JIF. And my question, I have two of them.
That was one.
143. Thank you. Has the township received any type of refund this year from the JIF for good performance?
Dennis?
Refunds do not, it isn't refunds, dividends do not happen until after you're in the JIF for 6 years, because costs against each year's assessments are more likely to happen during the first 6 years. So at the end of 6 years, the board of the JIF will then vote dividends to those municipalities that had performed well 6 years prior. We've been in this JIF for only 3 years.
Yes, I did know that. Thank you for that. And does that, are increases incurred due to risk prior to 6 years?
I don't understand the question.
Okay, I'll rephrase it. Has the township had an increase in their annual JIF premiums due to any risks?
There has been, I believe, a very slight increase in each of the last 2 years from the prior year, but in very, very low single digits, and a lot less than nearly all of the other communities.
When you say single digits, do you mean $1?
Like, no, single digits in percentages, I don't know, 1%, something like that.
Could it be as much as 9%? That too is a single digit?
It is not.
Okay, thank you.
One of the things that we do attend the JIF functions every year, and the township receives a reimbursement for all the council and administration that goes to their, like, $250 each or something like that. So
I
we
am
make
aware.
sure we go and get that money back.
Well, thank you.
If I may, there's also one other thing that I can't put a number on it, but our claims experience during our first 3 years in this JIF has been very, very good. So once the underwriters get a hold of all of our information as we complete the renewal process, for 2016, 2017, and 2018, the experience of the first 3 years is a consideration in the assessment that we will be offered for 2016, and I can confidently say that it will not be going up, and it'll probably be going down a little bit.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else? Mrs. Quinn?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
Ann Quinn, Country Lakes. Question with regard to this 145-2015. I have a question of my own. You said up to $446,000, and you're going to do it by resolution. Where's the money coming from?
If I'm not mistaken, didn't we vote on that in the budget? That 50,000, is that for the capital?
Well, that's capital funding. Is all this coming out of capital?
This is contingent. This is contingent upon adoption of the bond ordinance. And there is contingent language in there. If the bond ordinance does not pass,
It does say
the
that.
resolution does not.
It's in there, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, is there money available still for some of the asphalt?
I believe we have, I couldn't tell you exactly, maybe $100,000 left that we will continue to use as we complete the next couple of streets, yeah.
So if I understand your process correctly, you're going to pass this resolution 145-2015 before you even vote on the ordinance for the $1 million bond?
Yes, but then if the bond doesn't pass, there's no money for the resolution.
For the project to be complete. For the streets to be
Only the money that's there currently.
Let me ask you, well, I'll ask it when the bond comes up.
Okay,
have a
thank
question.
you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Yes, Mr. Tompkins.
Forgive me if I am.
Oh, well, we'll yell at you if you are.
Jack Tompkins, Pemberton Heights, as a matter of fact. This is it's got an asterisk under the new business. And I saw something here that kind of caught my eye real quick, and I'm hoping it's a typo. Recreation Department purchase of playground equipment, $20 million.
Mr. Tompkins said it's a typo. Thank you for catching that.
All right, I don't have to go to the hospital after all,
No, you do
thank
not
you.
have to go to the hospital. I apologize for that. And
We'd be
Mr.
going
Tompkins,
with you.
while you bring it up, Chairman Stoll, Chairwoman Stoll,
Yes?
I would like to note that under new business, purchases over 2,000, number 3, the tax assessor department, that's actually a purchase of 3 computers, not 2 as it stated, and that was my error. I don't know where I got the number 2 from, honestly. The price that is quoted there is for 3 computers and software for same,
Okay.
not 2.
Now, the rec department, is it $20,417.43? And that would be, well, I just want to clarify that for Mr. Tompkins.
It's $20,417.43.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else for consent agenda? Council?
None for me.
Sarah, seeing no one else from the public, does anybody from council want to pull anything, or? If not, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
If there is any, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Approve the consent agenda.
Go ahead, Amy. I don't...
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Trueblood? Ms. Stinney?
Yeah.
Ms. Skull?
Yes. Next on the agenda are other resolutions, and this is 148-2015 is a requesting permission from the Division of Local Government Services for an insertion of special item of revenue. New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Clean Communities Grant Program in the amount of $75,000 $452.49. Glasses, I think. There we go. And do we know, administration, what is this grant to be used for?
This is the annual recycling tonnage money, and it's used for the recycling programs that we do, some with the community and cleanups, and sometimes we bring a particular piece of equipment to the council for the purchase thereof. When we receive, as the folks here know, when we receive money after the budget is cut, all money has to go in a budget. So we have to have this resolution to get permission from DCA to put the money into the budget, both as revenue and as an expenditure, as the grants are always equal itself out to zero.
Okay, thank you. Council? Is there a
Motion to approve resolution number 148, 2015 as such a good program.
A second.
Mrs. Stinney?
Yes.
Mrs. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mrs. Skull?
Yes. And unfortunately, Mr. Early couldn't be here tonight, but we all wish him a long, healthy retirement and appreciate his service to Pemberton Township. Now we're on for an ordinance. Oh, we have to adopt it still? Motion to adopt a resolution of appreciation of the dedicated public service by Larry Early. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve resolution 149-2015, the recognition of dedication of our public service of Larry Early, many years of service.
I second the motion to approve 149-2015, recognition of dedication of public service by Larry Early. Mrs. Stinney?
Yes.
Mrs. Trueblood?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Skull?
Yes. Next is ordinance number 11-2015, the bond ordinance authorizing various capital improvements, the acquisition of various capital equipment, and for the Township of Pemberton, County, Burlington, New Jersey, appropriating the sum of $1 million, authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds or bond anticipation notes for principal amount up to $950,000, making certain determinations and convenience, and authorizing certain related actions in connection with the foregoing. This is the public hearing, so we're going to open it up to the public. Would anybody like to address ordinance number 11-2015? Mr. Tompkins? Uh-oh.
Jack Tompkins, Pemberton Heights. I've been up here and addressed this twice before, so I think you all know that I'm firmly against this. There's a couple things I noticed on here. It looks like the payout on this is not to be less than 8.36 years. So we're looking at about $118,000 a year if we go at that rate. It's what we're going to be adding to our tax burden for the next 8.5 years. And I'm thinking that's without the interest that we'll be paying. I also see here that we're purchasing 2 new sport utility vehicles for our police department. Now, don't get me wrong, I want to support our police department, but I keep saying that I have speeders going up and down my road, but then one of the excuses I have is we're short police officers. So if we're short police officers, why do we keep buying police vehicles, is the question I have. The other thing that kind of jumps out at me is we're going $1 million in debt right now, and I believe the last council meeting we approved a acquiring a facility out of Presidential Lakes, the fire department. And the council was pretty animate about getting fire presence back out at PL. From what I'm hearing in rumors from multiple sources, the roof of that facility is in dire need of repair. And some of the things I've heard are $50,000 to $100,000 to repair that roof. I've also heard some other things about the facility, but that's all rumors. But I'm still thinking that there's probably going to be at least $100,000 to $250,000 worth of repairs to that facility. And that's not in the current budget. So I've got a feeling that somebody's going to be coming to this council real soon saying we need more money. And that's going to be another expenditure. So I don't think that you folks, maybe you are, but you might not be aware of this. So you might want to consider that when you're thinking about passing this ordinance. If it was for me, I'd rather have the fire station over there operational and do the 100, whatever it takes to get that running, versus buying dump trucks when we already have some in the back, buying police cars when we don't have officers to drive the darn things, and we've already purchased 4 this year. There's 2 in the current budget, and we just approved 2 at the end of last year. That's 4. This will be 6. And we're down 10 officers. I don't see how you folks can pass this. I really don't. And I've seen where, you know, in this township, yeah, we do the budget, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we allocate the money, but then the administration spends it however they want anyway. And it's always an emergency when they need to spend it. So you can say, yeah, we need a dump truck, but the next thing you know, something's going to be broken, and that dump truck's not going to be purchased, like our canine dog isn't going to be purchased until September or later, to use it as an example. So again, I'm going to say I'm strongly against this ordinance. I'm against the bond. I think it should have been budgeted in the annual budget or put on the election as a referendum to pass it on to the voters for them to approve it or disapprove it. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ms. Wadsworth? Oh, jeez.
Claire Wadsworth again, Browns Mills. Jack made a very good point. We're looking at $118,000 more a year across 8 years. That's another $1.50 tax increase, and that's not to mention any other tax increase that's needed due to inflation. Thank you.
Mrs. Quinn?
And Quinn again, Browns Mills. 2 weeks ago, I stood here before you and told you all this $1 million bond has a knot in my stomach that has not left. I'm again, as a strapped taxpayer, going to be asked to take on additional taxes for projects that the town feels is necessary, or equipment the town feels is necessary. However, if I'm not mistaken, we have at least 2 dump trucks, maybe more. I don't think we need another one. 2 weeks ago, I said this roller issue, because it's a finished roller, we already have one. In my opinion, these items are not cost effective. Every year our taxes go up and we pay them. And I must reiterate again, I see no return on my investment. I am surviving on my salary alone with 4 adult people in my house. You all do not wear my shoes. And I've tried to convey that to you. I don't get pay raises and I don't get things to compensate my salary for the additional taxes that I have to pay. I have to decide how much food I can buy every 2 weeks, or what bills I can pay every 2 weeks. This is a personal issue to me, because we have no tax base in this town. We have empty commercial projects, commercial buildings. We have a shopping center that has been this way for as long as I've been a resident of 15 years. And we all know any kind of construction project isn't going to happen overnight. So the return on the investment, if there is one, is a long time down the road. I implore all of you sitting here today, do not pass this bond. I don't know where I'm going to get the extra money. I'm going to be asked to pay my taxes, and the town's not going to give 2 cents of how I'm going to have to figure out and make up the lost income for additional taxes. Our roads are important, but again, we have no tax base. You're pulling it off the backs of the residents who are struggling to make ends meet still. You guys have the power to approve it or not. And from what I've seen, you've had said yes to a lot of things, and I've had to sit here and take it. This $1 million bond is not cost effective, in my opinion, for the taxpayers of this town. Do not pass it. It does not work. Not right now, it doesn't. You start bringing businesses in here, and where we can generate tax revenue that it doesn't come off the backs of the taxpayers, then I might be so inclined to say I'm okay with it. Right now, I'm not. You guys can't pass this. For God's sakes, you guys can't pass this. Because I don't have it to give. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. Please do not pass this bond. Not right now.
Anyone else from the public? Yes, Ms. Phillips?
America Phillips, resident Pemberton Township, most 36 or 37 years right now. And I'm against to this ordinance where you guys want to pass tonight. I just hope the council consider what kind of community we are living on it, or the township, number one. Number two, borrow some money. I guess I can do the same thing, borrow money, but I get to pay. But you know what? We the residents that want to go and suffer this. And for me, I will be going against to this. Because number three, all the equipment Pemberton Township have been purchased in the past, doing roads and everything. But what is wrong? You gotta fix it, get it fixed. But yes, do your best with what you got. You knew in the past when you purchased this equipment was not appropriate for the roads. Well, guess what? You made your mistake. But the resident doesn't have to pay right now for. And for me as a taxpayer, and living a fixed income, I'm against to this ordinance. Why you don't put it for November? You got plenty time right now for the residents to vote in yes or no. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Prickett?
Good evening, council members.
Good evening.
Director Richard Bear, how is everybody? And clerk, I want to call you deputy clerk. All those years, it's still good. It means the same thing, but clerk Kozlowski. Rick Prickett. (181) Vincenttown Road. I want to ask initially two questions that you might not be able to answer tonight, but hopefully you maybe put some hypotheticals in there to come up with some potential numbers. The first question is, with the $750,000 the council is borrowing from Green Acres this year, and the proposed $950,000 bond ordinance tonight, how much will the 2015 $2.69 million debt payments go up in 2016? Now, I'm assuming they're going to go up. That's my assumption. Hopefully they'll go down, but that's my one question. Did you get that, Amy? My second question is, how many years will residents be paying off this bond, and how much will it cost them in interest payments? So again, as a council person, I would have looked at this and tried to figure out how much that would be. In 2009, Pemberton Township sold a bond, and it was rated by Moody's. They assigned the bond rating for Pemberton Township as B, capital B, small a1. That was the rating. And that reflects a township which has a moderately sized tax base, below average wealth levels, a sound financial position with relatively healthy reserves, that must be the surplus that we struggle here in the township to maintain, and above average debt burden. Okay, so that's how they describe Pemberton Township. So I looked online to see what a BAA, capital B, letter, small letter AA1 said, and what did they say? Okay, so what they said is this was a lower medium grade but investment bond. So if our rating gets much lower than this, it won't be considered an investment quality bond, and I don't know what it would be assigned at that point. And the definition for the capital B, small letter AA1 is adequate capacity to meet financial commitments. Now, this is the information that if you're going to invest in Pemberton Township, if you're going to buy the bonds as an investment tool, I believe, you're going to want to know this. However, along with the adequate capacity to meet financial commitments, however, adverse economic conditions or changing circumstances are more likely to lead to weakening capacity of obligor to meet its financial circumstances. So my concern is, I mean, this was in 2009. What is our current bond rating? And you may not know, because I think when you go out to bond, they rate it, I guess. I'm not as knowledgeable about this as I'd like to be. But I'm just wondering if our bond rating has gone down. Hopefully it's gone up. And with bond ratings that aren't high, I think municipalities have to pay higher interest rates for those bonds. So I'd be interested in hearing, if it's not tonight, at another meeting, what our current bond rating is. And also, I'd like to know if we can access this information online. If you go online and type in Pemberton Township, Moody's bond rating for Pemberton Township, it'll take you. Everything I've said here is online. Investors can read it and determine whether they want to invest in Pemberton Township. So the last thing I want to leave you with is, since bonds are the responsibility of the people to pay off, I guess over 30 years, I'm not sure. I don't think it'd be nice to be around in 30 years, but I'm not sure I'm going to be here in 30 years. Perhaps you will, and your kids, and, if we think about that, they're going to be paying this. So I think it's important to consider all these things. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Seeing no one, we'll close the meeting to the hearing to the public. Council?
Well, I have a question. It's been mentioned a couple times tonight. Put it on a referendum. Andy, could you expound on that?
I think I'd have to research that, Diane, because I've never actually had to do it. But I think you can put you could put a ballot. I guess you could have a binding and non-binding ballot question. Council takes action to put something on the ballot, a question like this. But I would have to research the process and all that, because I've never actually had a municipal client do it. So I don't know it off the top of my head.
So that the voters would, vote
right.
on
If it goes on the ballot,
bond.
the voters would vote on it. But I'm not sure of the process, and I apologize, but I just never had the experience, but I could find it and report back. Well, not like tonight, but...
I apologize. I
No.
guess I could have,
Yeah.
asked that, but,
Yeah, by the
heard this
next
tonight,
meeting, I would definitely have that for you.
referendum.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know the law allows for referendum. I just don't know how, I've never had it, like
That's
how...
usually for larger
Yeah.
costs, like buildings.
So, I think it's possible to put something like it on the ballot. I'm just not sure at the process as I'm sitting here. That's all.
I mention that because, I know the residents so generously agreed to allow their taxes to be raised with bonds with the dams and many projects that, I think Presidential Lakes, we did something to that, Andy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I'm trying to find the statute as we speak.
All right, would you?
Well, we have not had anybody vote on fixing the dams, Presidential Lakes, or the ones that are being fixed now. Council.
No, I know.
To bond.
I know, we did. I know.
Because we didn't have
I'm
a
just
choice,
saying.
basically.
Yeah, right, basically DP, right. I do understand that, sure. But I'm just saying, you didn't get a flow of people here. No, not my taxes going up, blah, blah, blah. But, no, just ask the question.
I have a few points or comments, if
Go
that's
ahead.
okay. First of all, Public Works has given us a capital request summary, which I believe is online, Dennis? And it details, when was it put online, Dennis, do you know?
I would say we got it Friday, probably Monday.
So this was put online Monday, which details a lot of information, detailed information, which I think he did a really good job in explaining to us and the public the reason for the equipment, the road program, the streets that's going to be done, the streets that were already done, the linear feet, the cost, the whole breakdown. So I invite residents to go look online and check that out to help answer some of your questions. Also, I hear a lot of residents saying that there's nothing positive in Pemberton Township, and at the same time, when us as council try to move forward, we get, don't do this, don't vote for this, we have this empty part in the town, this empty part in the town, and this is just my own personal opinion here, but I feel like we have to look forward into moving positively and getting some things done. I know we can all continue to say, this has still been empty, this building's been empty, that building's been empty, but we have to do something. The same with this, with the asphalt. Now, that being said, I think, Dennis, you said it's about $100,000 left to complete the asphalt, or Mayor, I didn't know if you were asking me a question.
Actually, where we're at right now with the program, Meadowview Lane, Indian Trail, Simontown Road, Indian Trail, Meadowview Lane are already completed this year. Simontown Road is what they're working on now. That will give us just a little over 1 mile of roadway done this year, and that'll take us out of funding to continue Washington Boulevard, Rhode Island Road, Virginia Drive, Louisiana Trail, California Trail, Tecumseh Trail, Chippewa Trail, Ridgeview Avenue, Arabella Avenue, Hunter Boulevard, Bobolink Boulevard, Birmingham Road, Burrs Mill Road, and Crescent Road, which are left on the list, which represent the resolution that you passed earlier for the asphalt. And the only thing I would like to comment on is reiterate what I said when this was introduced. This is only to authorize the debt. This is not a bond that's going out. This is not putting us in $1 million debt. The only debt that you would incur at this point, if you pass this evening, is the asphalt that you already approved. Any future expenditures on this capital bond ordinance would have to come back to council, and council would have to approve going forward. if we buy trucks, if we buy a roller. We're getting hung up on this roller, and the roller seems to be the big issue. If it comes to a roller, although Tom explained quite well, Supervisor, why he is asking for the roller, we'll do without the roller. That's council's choice. If we are not going to pave any more roads this year, that's council's choice also.
Okay. Ms. Quinn said that perhaps we made a mistake, or the previous council, the council who voted for that, made a mistake in approving the equipment that we currently have. Is that something that the previous council before me feels? We don't feel as though you guys made it a...
I questioned it at the time, Letha, that
Okay.
I had talked with several contractors who live in the township who said to me, you're not buying the right equipment. That's why I had questioned it then.
And the only piece of equipment, if you notice, that we're looking to add on, that outside of the trucks, of course, which are self-explanatory, we need trucks, and if we have another truck, that will increase our return on asphalt to the machine, speeding up the project. But the roller is explained in Tom's report that by having a finished two rollers, we can use one as a base roller and one as a finish roller, and that way the drum on the roller doesn't get damaged up by this heavier stone in the base material. Thus, you'll have a finish roller that's only used for finishing, which will give you a smoother finish, and that's where we're looking to go, just to improve the product that we're putting out. But again, keep that in mind. That's a future request that you can deal with. We're asking you to deal with the request of purchasing asphalt this evening.
I have a question. The roller we have now is poor, anticipated remaining life 2 years. But there's also the grader on here. Is this the grader in this one report that they use for the road program?
I have to look at the report, but I believe the roller that you're referring to as poor is an older roller. It's not the one that we just purchased. We have 3 rollers right now. We have a real small roller that they've had, that they use for when they pat, water department would use it patching cutouts, and public works would use it when they have small jobs, trails, and I believe that's the roller that's referenced in the poor condition.
Okay, because it's not clear which, matter of fact, it's the only roller I see on here. Unless I'm missing it, I only see the one roller. That's what made me ask. Let's see if it's on the front page.
The Eager Beaver, that's the one you saw. Is yours on the first page? I have it on the... Sure.
On which page?
I see it. Eager Beaver. Wait, I lost it. Eager Beaver roller on page 1.
I missed that one.
And there's another one that you see on the
page 2. Okay, there's Eager Beaver. All right, I see it.
See it?
Yeah, it says that's got 2 years left. And then we have, would have been nice if they'd stuck all the things that are the same together. The grader, is that the grader we're using? The Caterpillar grader that says it's 4 and 0 years anticipated life? Is there another one?
There should be 2 graders. One, I believe, is in poor condition. The one that they're using currently, I don't think is that bad.
Stump grinder,
the
that's different.
Caterpillar is the poor one on page 2.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about, that's poor. It also, I'm surprised at how many dump trucks we have that are like 0. I see we have, 3 or 4 that are pretty good shape, but a whole bunch that seem to not be in good shape.
If I may, the the roller that we use for, the one that we purchased for use in the road program is the 2014 roller that's in good condition on page 3.
Okay, missed that.
At the bottom.
It's a compact, 4 or 5 from the bottom.
Oh, little roller.
A little roller.
Big roller. Okay, this still has good remaining life. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I think the other roller was something that we'd had for a long time. I think it's a 92.
As well as
This
And
big roller diesel. It's compact. Says good for.
They're the two we
Another
bought, they're the two
14
used
years?
ones we bought last year.
Oh yeah, we did buy used ones, didn't we?
did.
Yeah. One of the things I just wanted to point out was we usually bond $1 million a year in road projects when we were just getting a couple roads a year done, correct? So I have mixed feelings about this. I still don't like the idea of buying trucks and police cars out of bonds because of their long-term, short-term life expectancy. Diane, or
Sherry,
do you have any other questions?
I'm waiting on Andy.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you found the answer?
Well, I think I do, but I was also going to say that, when you get to those purchases, you would be able to authorize or not authorize those individual purchases.
I understand.
Yes, but that takes 3 votes, right? And this
Correct.
takes 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
That's the difference.
Yep.
Were there any other questions or comments from anyone else on council?
I just wanted to, Councilman Sherry, that I do commend on this report to Tom and Phil that put this together. I mean, it's very thorough, it's laid out, and it took many, many hours to put together, but it was done to an excellent piece. So I just wanted to commend that to the public works for putting something like this together.
Are there any other questions or comments from council?
I can partially answer Councilwoman Stinney's question.
Okay.
So, one way, and this is not dispositive or exhaustive, but this was what was in the back of my head when Diane had asked the question. But one way that an ordinance gets to the voters is through, and I got to find the provision again because I've been looking through the book, but it's through initiative and referendum. So after this ordinance, if adopted, has to be published, and then it doesn't take effect for 20 days. And then if there is a referendum passed by the voters, or at least a petition submitted, I should say, within that 20-day period, and the clerk finds that there's the sufficient number of registered voters on the petition, then the ordinance would not become effective until it would be on the ballot.
To November.
Right. So, I'm sorry?
Until November.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, could be a special. I'm not sure about that
Or
part.
a special
Yeah.
vote. Okay.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But so there's one way is through that process. Right. So it's referendum. The voter shall have the power of referendum, which is the power to approve or reject at the polls any ordinance submitted by the council, or any ordinance passed by the council against which a referendum petition has been filed. So if there's enough voter signatures, the ordinance would go to the ballot. That's one way.
What kind of percent of voters?
I think it's 15% of the number of voters at an election during a year at which members of the General Assembly were elected.
No.
So it's an off year, so the number's lower actually. So if the Assembly didn't run with the President, don't know the year of the last assembly election, but is there one this year? There's one
There's
this year.
one this year, so
So
it
it'd
would
be
have been
2
2
years
years ago.
This is 15. This is 15. So there would be 15% of the registered voters who voted in the 2013 election, November election.
There were a lot of voters because it was,
No, because the presidential would have been 12.
no, it was, what was it, Senate or something? What was going on? The governor.
Yeah,
Wasn't
but
it
that
the
was a low
governor?
year, though, the lowest gubernatorial election.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there were
Yes.
a lot of voters here because of the council
Oh, right.
election, I think.
But in any event, that's what the law is. So, yeah, that's one way.
Okay. Well, you'll find out the other way for me. And the reason why I asked you that is because I've heard from residents too, not to knock Public Works for a nice article or thing that they put together here. Not to knock them of the good work that they have done here in the township. However, as I move throughout the township, I hear a whole bunch of negative things. As a matter of fact, on my way down here to the council meeting tonight, I spoke with a young lady who works over here at the prison, and she's moving out of the township into Lumberton. And wherever you go, you see a new house, an old house that's going up, another house that's going up, and you're hearing this, you're hearing that. I doubt very seriously, about the college, and you look at the shopping center. I mean, we were just so gung-ho on that. We thought it was going through. I understand, can't twist anyone's arm to do something that they don't want to do, but I just hear so much, so very much that my heart just really hurts. It just really hurts. And I hear them talking about roads. As a matter of fact, we received an email on Mr. Bailey, and I tell you, I wouldn't even take a bicycle down his road. I'm going to put my car in the shop right now for an alignment. I have a broken arm right now where I'm trying to keep the wheel from going the other way because of my alignment, and I'm sure I'm not the only one with the roads here. So I applaud the Public Works on wanting to do the roads as well, but you have to look at, if this is what the residents want, come out. I mean, you just have a few people here tonight, and I'm not saying that your opinion doesn't count. I'm not speaking of that. I mean, others or half the township have the same opportunity to come out and express their opinion as well. And this is just, my opinion on that, but I just wanted to make that perfectly clear on the record that, I'm not saying the road shouldn't get fixed, but I go around town and I hear a lot of things. I go down there in the Lake Valley, you hear, what happened to my sidewalk down here? God bless the gentleman that used to come here to the meeting. He's dead and gone. I don't think he got to even see his sidewalk repaired. I mean, I don't know. I like to hear the voice of the people.
I like to hear the voice of the people too. I'm sorry, Sherry, but
No, go ahead.
help me understand, Miss Diane. Are you saying that you don't think that this program is beneficial?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
So I don't want to misquote you.
No, please don't. I just held this up. I said this is a nice article. In my comments, I said that I think everyone deserves to have their roads fixed. And I think we've done such a wonderful job, for the record, on the road projects here since we agreed some years ago, before you came on, to fix some of the roads. But again, I do like to hear the voice of the people. And again, like I said, there's just a few people here. Not that your voice does not count. You can have two people here. All right, that's all
We've
my...
had some people who have stood up and opposed the ordinance, but then they've stood up and complained about the roads that aren't done.
Heard it.
So we kind of have to juggle both of those things. And, you know,
We don't do
we're
asphalt.
we're
that's
elected
what
to represent the public and what we think is best for the public.
as a whole.
I don't not support the road project. What I have been vocal about is I have a real problem with the way council's kept in the dark about issues and not informed about issues and not respected for our opinions if they're different than administrations. And I just feel like, you know, this is one opportunity where the message gets sent. We need to stop that crap. Not that I think it's going to stop. They're not even listening. But, do I support the road project? Yes, we did that. We brought the roads in-house to save money for the taxpayers. That was the whole purpose. And get more roads done, which we're doing. I have a big problem buying equipment and police cars. I think a lot of that police cars should definitely be in the budget, or the money in the budget somewhere. But as I've also said, we were doing $1 million bond every year just to do 3 or 4 roads. So it's really a tough decision. And council, do you have a motion to adopt the ordinance 11/2015, or any motion on the ordinance?
I'm probably gonna not be too liked upon in the public for this, but I think it's a good ordinance, and I think that, well, my opinion is already known, so I'm gonna be the one to go ahead and make a motion to adopt ordinance number 11/2015 for the bond ordinance.
I've been looking at this as well, and I believe we're gonna, with the asphalt that we need to improve our roads, and looking to moving forward with this, to keep it for our in-house, and the employees of Public Works to learn these projects, to learn these equipment. So with that, I move that I second the motion to approve ordinance 11/2015.
Adopt ordinance.
Adopt, I'm sorry.
Mrs. Jackson?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Mrs. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mrs. Stinney?
No, and I'm not looking for popularity. I really, frankly, don't care.
Neither do I.
I'm waiting for, it's my turn, I believe. I'm waiting, Andy, if you would be so kind to get back with me with the part 2 of the, going on for a referendum. Maybe perhaps, I would be able to help in
Sure.
that process. But
sure we
at
can
this
find you.
time, right now, I am going to say no. And for the record again, I do support our roads. I just want to say that, for the record, I do. Believe me, I do. So, my vote will be no this evening.
Mrs. Scoff?
No. Next on the agenda is
Solicitor's report.
I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything under
I think
these
so.
parades and that. Solicitor's report, Andy.
I have nothing for the public this evening, Council President. Acting Council President.
Thank you. And then we have mayors and business administrator.
I have nothing, thank you.
One, you're joining us?
My comment this evening is how disappointed I am in this council, or certain members of this council, that have taken action previously and have not followed through on their actions. I know things change, but when we came to you with this program, we told you what the program was about. We told you what our intention was and what we would accomplish.